not talking unless y'all giving me land and 2,000 or more every week. You hear me?
I'm not talking unless y'all giving me likes, commenting, and subscribing. You hear me? Okay. Well, hey, JamiThatsMe here. Listen, I just wanted to come and chit chat with you guys for a second. I want us to get into the mother from Detroit who children passed away in the van due to hypothermia, from what I'm understanding. Because they were saying that there is a warrant out for her arrest. I also want to get into these other two parents down there in Texas that was too lazy to get their ass up and take their baby to school, so the baby had to walk to school in the fucking dark. Are y'all okay? All right, so we're gonna tap into that, and then we also have to tap into Seronis because he is now being exposed by two of his ex-girlfriends. I don't know what's going on with Seronis Jackson, honey. I don't know what's going on. It seems like it could be giving every other year or two. He is having some type of scandal or something going on. Because I remember one time he had the girlfriend that I guess he had an open relationship with, or either he cheated and then said he had an open relationship when he didn't, or whatever. Then he got Dominique pregnant, the young lady that was a part of the Insecure show. And then now you got these other two ladies coming out speaking their story. And before they spoke their story, you had him saying some things about Keke Palmer and Keke Palmer's mom having to say something about him. And then next thing you know, it's a lot. It's a lot. I'll rehash that once we get to his segment. But at this time, I do want us to touch on the mother out there in Detroit. Okay. This woman, who I believe her name is Tatiana or something like that. Her children passed away. I believe it may have been, yes. So it was on February 10th, right? She was experiencing homelessness out there in Detroit. She was trying to find somewhere for her to go, but of course, nobody was able to help, assist, or anything. And unfortunately, they had to go and sleep in the parking lot, or shall I say, the parking garage of the casino on like the 9th or the 10th floor. And it was her and her multiple children. I think she may have 4 or 5 kids. Maybe it was 6 children that were with her. And 2 of them ended up being found dead. Like the next morning, she woke up. Okay, so she had 5 children. 2 of them passed away. I believe it was her youngest, and one of the older children ended up dying. And they said that it was pretty much they froze to death because it was freezing cold out there, freezing cold. And you know, when we found out about the baby daddy, of course, he does like a interview or whatever with the news and stuff. And basically the tea that I learned about him was that he had a whole nother girlfriend. Okay. He had a whole nother girlfriend that did not want them kids there, is what the people alleged. Okay. Didn't want the kids there. He got on there acting all like he had some sympathy and stuff, but he didn't give a damn because it seems like he didn't even want to take 1, 2, or a few of the kids into his house so that they did not experience some homelessness. I feel like, you know, if there were some warrant charges against this woman, any type of arrest stuff, I feel like the father should be held liable as well. Because if you had a home where your children could have gone and you did not extend a helping hand to them, I feel like you're just as much as a criminal as the mama, right? So this news station reported that there was a warrant request submitted in case of 2 kids who died in a van, right? So they're saying the mother of 2 children found dead in a Greek town parking structure last month could be facing criminal charges, depending on the prosecutor's office. Right? They said the Detroit police have sent a warrant request for charges against Tatiana Williams. The request will now be reviewed and a decision will be made by the prosecutor's office. All right. So a lot of conversation was going around saying that this woman is going to be charged with something. All right. A warrant was out for her arrest. That's what the stories were. And a lot of people I saw started to have an uproar about it. Like, how dare y'all? The city of Detroit just gifted this woman a home after she struggled with homelessness because the resources y'all say were available to her were not available when she reached out to them. Okay. And they didn't come available until months and months later. And it's sad that it took 2 kids to die for y'all to even get off y'all tails to want to do something. So they offered her a home. And it's crazy because when they offer her the home, congratulations, I'm glad she got it. And they doing it like they should get a clap and a pat on the back. But if y'all got the money to offer a home now, why y'all ain't been doing that? Y'all should be offering homes, I guess, every month or every quarter. In my personal But okay, so anywho, that's what happened. So a lot of people just were going in on Detroit, right? Going in, going off. Well, it looks like the chief of police has now come up and he wanted to clear the air and give people clarity about that particular situation. And he says, I want to clarify recent reports regarding the tragic incident at the Greektown Casino. The parking structure involving Darnell Curry Jr. and A. Miller Curry. Okay. So both of them, okay, so y'all had the same daddy. So that man is y'all daddy, but he didn't want to take y'all, like, yeah, I feel like, yeah, charge him too. But anywho, they're saying the Detroit Police Department has completed its investigation into their deaths and submitted the findings to the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office for review. Detroit Police Department has not requested charges to be filed against any family member of the children. Nobody. Okay, so when they go back here and they say that the Detroit police have sent a warrant request for charges, they're now coming back telling the news and telling the people that they lying. They have not requested any charges. They says, as we do every case, we have simply turned over our investigative file to the prosecutor's office for its review and determination. Any charging decisions will be made solely by the prosecutor's office. So the prosecutor's office, so it seems like he's dropping it over into their lap. So it's up to them if they want to prosecute her or not. And I just don't, for me, y'all let me know. I don't think that she should be charged with that. All right. I understand for some people it may seem a bit sketchy because shortly after the passing of her children, she was out hanging out, partying, whatever the case is. But if she ain't got it, she ain't got it. And I feel like it's a lot of people out here that ain't got it. Right? And maybe she was trying to, give her kids to somebody for them to help with the children. Maybe they couldn't. And then again, maybe she wanted her kids to just be with her because you can give your kids to somebody and they'll abuse them. So ain't no telling, if she would have gave the kids up to a family member looking out for their safety and they got violated, then the mother would have got drugged for it. People would have been eating her up about that. Right? While she over there trying to get herself together. But it is what it is, okay? Unfortunately, these two babies did not get a chance to fully live out their lives and they lost their life. But if y'all gonna bring up some charges, prosecutor's office, it don't need to be just against her. Y'all need to come call that daddy too, because I feel like he has a duty as well. In my personal. And if she is unable to have some type of help, have her kids somewhere, he probably not helping out financially either. But at least giving her a piece of a hotel or something. Okay, so he's not looking out either. So I just feel like she's not the only person that had a duty to her children, and that's that. But I also feel like with a lot of the city likely coming out having things to say against her being charged and arrested or whatever, they may not even move with that, because I mean it is a bad look for Detroit in my opinion if y'all gifted her a home and wanting to support her, and then the prosecutor office turns around and says, nah, we found probable cause to arrest you on this, that, and the other. And it's like, okay. Yeah, I don't think that's cool. But y'all leave y'all thoughts down below. Let me know what you think about the situation. And whether you feel like there was grounds for them to want to, to charge her for something, whether you feel like this is not on the dad at all, solely on the mother. Let me know your thoughts on that. And we're going to go ahead and move on. All right. I also want to talk about these two individuals here. What's this? Talesia and Devontae, because they thought that it would be a wise idea to have their daughter walk to school. All right. Along a busy highway at that in the dark. And the girl was outside, they said, for about an hour and a half walking because the dad didn't feel like driving. So you just didn't feel like getting your ass up. So did the baby just leave out the house because you didn't feel like getting up, or you was going to have her be late for school? How did she get out there? Did she just start walking on her own? Like, what's that about? What is that about? They're saying the parents of a grade school age girl in Texas were charged with endangering her safety when the girl's father wouldn't drive her to school. They're saying Talesia Connor and Devontae Hall, which is, she's 23. He's 27. I'm wondering, what is the school age of this baby? Okay, because it appears that the young girl was in elementary school. So my question is, at what, like, I know she's not in kindergarten at no 5 years old walking. If so, right, 6 or 7. If so, about 5 years old, 5 years ago, they probably would put the mama at about 18 and the daddy potentially at what, maybe 22 or something like that, 23, whatever. So if the girl's a bit older, because what, I feel like you can go up to what, maybe 12 or so. I just wanted the age range. And the reason why I'm asking is, how old into your adulthood were you, and how young into the mother's childhood was she when y'all had a kid together? But anywho, I guess that ain't none of my business. So they're saying that both of these parents were arrested by the police after their young daughter was spotted walking along a very busy highway, Rankin Highway, and they said it was still dark outside when she was walking. Police responded to calls from dispatch about the girl, and they eventually found the young lady. Now, according to reports, the girl told the police that she was walking to her elementary school after her father refused to drive her there. Now, the police officers took the girl into their vehicle, warmed her up, they gave her a snack or whatnot. As they had a conversation to find out more about why she was walking by herself, she reportedly said that it was her first time walking to school from her home. Now, I don't know if she just chose to walk out the door, or I don't know what could have happened. You know, maybe you know how you try to get somebody up and they be like they tired, he don't feel like getting up. Did she just walk out? Like, what was that? I want to know more about that interaction. What else? They said they believe the girl had been walking for some time, 45 to 90 minutes or so. And both of the parents ended up being interviewed. They placed them both under arrest for abandoning and endangering a child. They also said that they were booked and they have posted bail. All right. The arrest dates and future court dates were not available for everyone. Now, they did map out the route from where the girl was found to the elementary school, and estimated that she was still another half hour away from her destination. That is crazy to me. Y'all got this baby out here just a walking. Ooh, child. I do want to know the dynamics. Like, did the daddy tell you to leave out the door? Did you choose to leave out the door on your own because daddy was too lazy to get his mother up and do his job as a parent? What's up with the mama? Could the mama not take you? What was she going? What she had going on? Right? But that's what's going on with these individuals here. Unfortunately, I'm glad the little girl was found safe, though. I'm glad people cared enough to call the police to see about this young baby walking across the, and she must have been super young. Like, she must be like 8 or younger for them to be so alarmed to have called the cops. So yeah, child, but that's what's going on. I had to highlight that because I thought that was very stupid. Okay. And let's get into something else stupid. And that's Seronis Jackson, because what is given is that Seronis Jackson has been set up here. He has created some super elaborate dumbass lie to explain how and why he got somebody pregnant. It was like really weird. And I feel like somebody else kind of pulled this stunt that I can't think of right at this time. But Seronis got some things going on with him. I don't know. But we are going to get into it. Okay. Because it's text messages, it's all of that. And it's video. So we will check it out. Okay. Okay, so the lady at the top that you see in the photo, her name is Tisha Gamino, from my understanding. And I feel like she was the one that kicked everything off because she made a post all the way back in March 1st. It was on March 1st when she first made the post, right? And she had a lot of things to say, and we're going to get into her post. But after this post had been up for roughly about 2 weeks before it really started to pick up steam and people started to talk about it. And just the day prior, there's another young lady, the one at the bottom, that's Brittany Bell, where she came out with a video. So I guess she's somehow connected to this story as well. And it's just a whole lot of going on. So we're going to go ahead and just get right on into it. All right. So let us slide over and check out this screen here. Okay, so Tisha made this post, like I said, on March 1st. And what she says is, I'm normally not into airing people out like this, but people need to be held accountable for their actions and lies. Enjoy. Child, now let's get into the caption. So she says, may the truth set you free. I've known Seronis Jackson for years. We hung out a few times, but it was strictly physical, no emotional connection. We spent Christmas Day together with our friends, and 2 weeks later, I found out I was pregnant. For this man to lie on me like this is insane, especially when I didn't even initiate the sex in the first place. Not only am I disgusted, but I am at peace with knowing that my child was saved from having to have him as a father. He begged me to get an A, you know what she's talking about, and got mad when I told him I couldn't. I couldn't put myself through that mentally. Said he didn't consent to having this baby and that he never has a say in his fatherhood. Now, I feel like he tried to pull the same stunt, in my opinion, with Dominique. Okay, so she said he didn't consent to having his baby and that he never has a say in his fatherhood. Okay, so this is what he's saying. Um, fatherhood. Okay, as I'm going through this story, I started to think about, the times that Seronis Jackson has kind of pulled like a similar stunt. I'm trying to get a good stopping place because I want us to go back and check out the video first that's going to lead us to here. Get comfy because I feel like this is going to be a lengthy video, okay? This is going to be a lengthy video. So, anywho, all right. So she says, didn't hear from him for 3 weeks. When I finally heard from him again, it was to cover his ass and tell me to ignore the DM from his girlfriend that I knew and nothing about, and how he was trying to cook up a story on what to tell his family, and that he was still working on accepting that he has a child on the way. Now, we're going to put a pin in it right there. We're going to hop over here and we're going to hear what this young lady has to say. All right, let's check her out.
Finger down if you dated a F-list celebrity since 2021. You guys had your back and forths on and off, but at the end of the day, you guys always came back to each other and talked about building a life and having kids, and you showed him unconditional love 24/7. You took care of his daughter like she was your own. Meanwhile, all of this stuff is going on. His brother had a baby and was dating a very, very, very famous child star actress, now adult, and they were going through their legal drama publicly, and her mother came out accusing your boyfriend of being an abuser, a narcissist, evil, every horrible thing you can think of. And all the while, he's in your apartment hiding from people serving him, like law papers serving him. He's crying in your apartment about how everyone's trying to say that his character is like they've got him all wrong and none of these things are true. And because you're so in love with this guy, you believe every single thing that he says. He's been manipulating you this whole entire time. Flash forward to end of 2024, December 2024. You finally get tired of all of the back and forth, the up and down, the highs and the lows with this guy. So you write him an email that basically says, I cannot do this any longer. Please leave me alone. I don't want the family that we discussed. I know that it's going to happen eventually. It's going to happen separately. Go on with your life. This is just too much for me. He calls you. Why did you send that email? You go, it's pretty self-explanatory. So he basically tells you, let's work on us. Like, let's try again. Like, I see a future with you. All of these things convince you all over again. And because you love this man deeply, you agree. So now you're hanging out, and now it's top of 2025. It's January. And you're thinking, okay, we're working together. Like, this is the love of my life. No relationship is easy. Whatever. He wants to be here. I want to be here. Cool. We start watching a show one day. And we're watching this TV show, like a medical TV show. And there's a child that comes in to get an abortion. And I look at him, and he looks a little funny. So I'm like, are you okay? Like, is the show too queasy? He pauses the TV and tells you, I have to tell you something. Immediately, you start to shake and you feel sick to your stomach, because the only thing this man could possibly tell you after all of his cheating and lying and scamming and everything else he's done is that he has a new baby coming. Ding, 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 ding. That's exactly what he told me, except for he said back in 2021, he gave his sperm to a sperm bank to this woman. She froze his sperm since 2021 and then randomly decided to unfreeze it without his knowledge and insert it in herself. And now she was waiting to see if she was pregnant.
Child.
Mind you, I've been with this man since 2021 and he's never mentioned such thing because it is a lie. This man is such a liar that he couldn't even fess up and say, hey, when we were broken up for 3 days, I went and I had schmegs with someone else. So he concocted this crazy, bizarre lie that he donated his sperm. I asked to see a contract. I asked to see the woman. He would not show me any of these things except saying, I don't owe you an explanation. I'm not going to defend myself. You need to believe what I'm saying. I'm distraught. I'm crying. And then it becomes physical. After this man blows up and tells me that I'm nothing, that I will never be anything, looks around my apartment. Mind you, this man hasn't worked in months because Hollywood doesn't want to deal with him. His name has been smeared, and so has his brother. After he's taken money from you, he continues to tell you that you're going to be nothing. I've been supporting the man. And all of these things. Then he resorts to hitting you. And this was not the first time. This was the second.
Ooh.
Didn't tell any of my family or friends about this stuff because I thought I could handle it. So, yes, after I've been cheated on, lied to, publicly embarrassed, everyone and their mother knows that this man is awful. But yet, somehow, he gets invited to all of these Hollywood parties, and people rave about him because he's a narcissist, and he's wearing a mask. He's wearing a mask, and, you know, I saw him that day for who he truly was, and he didn't like it, and he didn't like the things that I had to say, so he resorted into hitting me. Yeah, so put a finger down if you went through that. Yeah, this guy's gonna get his, but not by my hands. I think it's gonna be the Lord's.
All right, so y'all just heard what this young lady said. Now listen, there is more. When she talks about him being a narcissist or whatever, Miss Ma'am on the money, okay? And the crazy thing for me is the fact that he has yet to change in all of these years since he has had a daughter with Dominique Perry. And we're going to have a flashback in just a second where we're going to go back and we're going to get into some of that history just a little bit. But we're going to go ahead and keep going because I do want us to get into these text messages of what she alleged when he came up with this elaborate story about surrogacy and giving up sperm and all of this extra stupid shit that he's talking about. Okay, so let us get into that real quick. All right, so these are text messages here on Tisha's page that she put up, and she says, did you go to a surrogate? This is the girl DMing. This is the message that Seronis wanted her to ignore. Actually, before we get into these messages, I think I put a pin in some of what she had to say. And we bounced over to her, to Brittany to hear what Brittany said. So let me finish up this caption first. She goes on to say that you can see the timestamp from when she DM'd me and from when he texted me. In no way was I trying to make this a difficult situation for him. I wasn't thrilled being pregnant with his child, but I took accountability for my actions and was going to make the best of it. It didn't have to be as deep as he was making it out to be, but here we are. The receipts don't end here, Sarunas, so keep playing with me if you want to. Okay, that's what she's saying. Now let's get into it. Did you go to a surrogate and freeze my boyfriend Sarunas' sperm, or did he fuck you? She says, I didn't feel inclined to respond based off of how you decided to reach out, but I'm not in the business of protecting males that lie on me. Okay, well, this is going to be a lie. All right, now keep in mind, this says February 5th. So this is recent. So are you with child? Let's keep going. She says, do I look like child? She says, do I look like I need to have sperm artificially inserted in me? A surrogate carries a baby for someone else since you seem misinformed about surrogacy. I would say you ain't gotta talk to her like that, but the girl did just hop in your DMs without a greeting, honey. Tell us, did you go to a surrogate and freeze my boyfriend's sperm? Yeah, I guess, girl, you get what you give. So she says, think twice before you come at another woman with some BS. It's a lie like that. Have a nice day, child. So the girl says, wasn't my lie. That's what he told me. I wrote that message in a heightened emotional state. Not hard to imagine. I didn't mean surrogacy. He told me you've had his sperm frozen since 2021 and recently decided to unfreeze it without his knowledge and were awaiting to see if you were pregnant. He was my boyfriend since 2021, so this news was jarring for me. I eventually got him to show me your text thread and clearly saw that you, in fact, were not pregnant via his insane story. Seronis is a habitual liar and a physical abuser. I thank God this has all happened and I get to walk away from him, no strings attached. Blessings on your new journey. So the girl responds, he called and told me to ignore you if you message me, but I didn't even see the message till days later. I was more so shocked that you believed his story and didn't want any parts in the back and forth with you. She says, we've only had sex twice last year, once in March and then in December, which is when I got pregnant. I would never freeze his sperm, so for him to make me out to be desperate is crazy. I didn't even want to have sex with him. I was asleep and he kept trying. I feel like that's violation, but anyway, let's keep going. I'm not sure what text thread you saw, but you can see in my responses that I wasn't giving him the energy that I was interested in pursuing anything further. From what I knew of him, he wasn't with anyone. So hearing that you guys had been together since 2021 is very new to me. I'm not into tearing women down, so I'm sorry you had to find out the way that you did. Child. So the girl says, I didn't believe his story. That's why I got so heated. You can ask such and such, but I'm sure he'll just lie for Seronis. Such and such knows me very well and of our relationship. The only reason he showed me your text was because he hit me and I threatened to call the police if he didn't open his phone. I've dealt with his lies for so long and women DMing me and etc. for too long. But this lie was just so insane. I don't know how and when he finds the time because he was with me 24/7 if he wasn't traveling to see his daughter or filming. I don't tear women down either, and it just kept being proven that Seronis paints all women to be crazy, liars, evil, blah blah blah, which isn't too different than I feel what he was doing with Kiki Palmer. All right. He said you were 40 and this was your last attempt to have a baby. So that's why this was all happening. Girl, that's crazy. LOL, I have no words. Honestly, I'm just happy to be out of his Tubi movie of a life. I know, girl, it's definitely giving Tubi movie. The girl says, wait, this is a lot to process. LOL. He said I'm 40 and this is my last attempt. She says, you can call me. Here's my number. It's a lot. All right. So then she shows the text messages between her and Sarunas. Okay. So that was December 26th. Did we get to 28? LOL. She says, "Ha, we did not. I suck. I'm still mad at you. It was good though. It was better than the first time, but it's still temporary and I'm on a mission mentally. It was about to hit 4 months. It was." Okay. So I guess she's been taking a break from sex or something like that. All right. Goes on to say you still got an attitude. This was in January. The girl says, "Nope. It's a new year and I'm not falling for the okie doke." Now, first of all, I'm looking at this haha. I'm like, when the ha-has got colorful like that? And I realize I have yet to update my iPhone. Yikey dikey. Okay. So he goes on to say, what okie doke? He says, what okie doke? LOL. Comes back and says, she says, you know what? Okie doke, I'm talking. You know what okie doke I'm talking about? Oh, she says, nope, it's a new year and I'm not falling for the okie doke again. He says, what okie doke? LOL. She says, you know what okie doke I'm talking about. And then she says, come lay next to me so I can fall asleep. So, girl, she let it all out, ain't she? So, January 11th, hey, I know you're out of town, but can you call me when you get a chance? He says, okay, everything okay? She says, I'm not sure how to answer that. I was trying to wait till you got back, but it's pretty important. He says, okay, damn, give me a second. She says, so that was on Saturday, January 11th. I guess he calls her, not sure, January 13th. She says, hey, I want to talk to you again when you have a minute, okay? Then he says, okay, bet. Next day, hi, hey. Then I guess I don't know, maybe it's been phone conversations. Then we pick up on February 5th. Hey, let me know when you are free for a call. She says, I can talk now. Oh, damn. So we just went into the audio like that?
Obviously, like I said, since I'm,
Wait.
I don't really got no saying there. I guess I was just trying to ease the situation for me when I'm kind of breaking this news to people, the family and, someone I was involved with and all that. I just kind of, I guess, wanted to get your thoughts of on if you would be opposed if we just kind of presented like it was just like two friends that had a mutual agreement that didn't have no prospects for real, and we were just like, yeah, because I just don't want to be breaking this off on some I was, obviously, like I said, since I'm, I don't really got no saying there. I guess I was just trying to like see, yeah, that girl I was, reconnecting with. I did have to break it down. I did have to break it for her, and I did tell her. So, that didn't go well. So, as you can imagine, for sure. But, just the timing was all weird. The timing was all, it was just the timing. It wasn't like nobody did anything wrong. It's just the timing.
But what story did you go with?
What'd you say?
I said, what story did you go with?
Oh, shit, I ain't gonna lie. Like, I was like, we had an agreement. They want sperm and everything like that. Boom, boom. That's what I told her. But it wouldn't matter anyway. That was gonna be a wrap. That girl I was, reconnecting with. I did have to break it down. I did have to break it for her, and I did tell her. So, that didn't go well. So, as you can imagine, for sure. But, just the timing was all weird. The timing was all, it was just the timing. It wasn't like nobody did anything wrong. It's just the timing.
All right. So now that we got into all the audio, the text messages and everything, and we know what's really going on, okay, and how this man is coming up with lies and stuff, listen, it's not too different than what he's done in the past. So with Dominique Perry and the past girlfriend he had with, I believe her name was Kaylin, all right? I want us to flash back just a second so that we could see what was happening a few years ago. And it's crazy because he hasn't really matured or grown up at all since having his daughter. You know what I'm saying? And it's like you still on the same stuff you was about 5-6 years ago. Child, let's go ahead and get into that.
I be dodging fuckboy after fuckboy. The latest of the greatest out here announcing babies. Ooh, look at God, dodging bullets. I be dodging fuckboy after fuck.
Now, what this post says is, ladies, listen to your intuition. She says, these dudes will be in your crib, eating your food and laying up with you and taking you on dates, etc., but got kids on the way without you knowing. These insecure men can't never keep it 100. Congrats, though, is what she says. And it's crazy because it's not much different than this young lady here. Luckily for her, but also unfortunately for her. Well, what I'll say is unfortunately for her, but luckily for somebody else, y'all have the Carfax, all right? You have the Carfax from the Kaylin situation, and now this young woman, and it doesn't seem like her situation is any different than what Kaylin endured, okay? This is them together a while ago, okay? So that was the boo, and this is him announcing the child that he had with the darker skinned young lady, Miss Dominique child. But let us get into a little bit more because it looks like she had more to say at that time back then, and this is what she said.
In the blogs. And what occurred was, I had friends and family sending me something that I didn't have information on, and I'm human, and it made me feel how I felt, so I did a post and delete. This post was made in the middle of the night. Not too many people seen it, but now everyone has seen it. And since then, I have gained information and had a conversation that does not need to be completely shared with the rest of you guys. I felt when I made that post and how I feel at this exact moment. You guys are seeing things in the blogs and that I had is totally different. There's bigger things to be focused on and to move forward with.
She dropped the Kool-Aid.
That's about it. So guys know how I can get. Some things can hit the fan for me, but at the end of the day, it's not about keep that same energy, because I love to keep that same energy. It's about hearing people out, understanding situations, and evaluating if it's that big a deal or not. That's it. I just wanted to share that with you guys because I feel like a lot of y'all are confused. You don't know what transpired, when, what, and etc. And like I said, all the extra details and any information that I had.
So she pretty much drunk the Kool-Aid. In my personal, he was able to get to her and probably confused her with, oh, that time we had broke up, that's when me and her had did this and that, da, 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 da. Okay, so it was just a mess. So this is where he got in the comments, and this was back in 2018. He says, no, get y'all facts straight. Stop, stop, stop. This is not the situation. Goddamn, y'all trying to make a man's life hectic. Damn, Shade Room. Ask Amaze by K directly. She's me and her are cool. She says, I found out the world with the world, so I ran with it and was in my feelings. Sarunas and I are great friends, and we've cleared the air. No foul play or games were played. He's going to be an amazing father, and we are going to continue to be close friends. That's what she say. I doubt they close friends now. Okay. So again, I do feel like she drank a little bit of the Kool-Aid and accepted whatever story he told her. In my personal, I think that it wasn't much different back then as it is today. Okay. Also, before we close out the video, allowing you guys to leave your thoughts down below, I want to also flash back again, honey, and I want us to get into, I just wanted to hear a clip from Dominique on, like her situation and stuff when it came to Seronis. So let us flash back just a little piece.
Speaking of being a single mother, sisterhood, there's women around the world who experience abuse. It doesn't just have to be physical. It can be mental. It can be verbal, right? That's something that you had to go through publicly, allegations, quote unquote. And you had to still say, you know what? Yeah, I'm going through this right now. And yeah, the public knows about it, but I got to still grind.
Absolutely.
And it may not be as easy as you make it seem, because a lot of people in the industry make this look like it's so easy, but it's not. I mean, think about Keke Palmer. She had to go through the same thing, same allegations. And it was like, okay, do I have to silence my career because everybody knows what's going on in my personal home? I got to continue to go.
Yeah.
How were you able to go through what you did publicly? And then how were you able to like lean on somebody and say, hey, I'm going through this, and get that advice from somebody to comfort you, to help you?
I think, like I said, my close friends and my mother really was with me every single step of the way during that process. I also had Keke during that process, but I think I kind of got in a cocoon, got to myself. That's usually what I do when I'm kind of facing anything, because I really don't like to put that energy out to anybody else, because somebody else could be having a bad day. But I just kind of got to myself, got myself together, and realized, like, what else am I going to do? Like, I got to keep it going.
What would you say to the women, though, that are going through the same thing that you did, that has a child and had to, you know, even though it went public, and a lot of people are not public figures like you are, but they had to go through that and still had to keep moving on. Like, what would you say to say, you know what, pick yourself up, queen, and keep going?
For me, Jacob, I leaned on God so much, even more so than what I ever did. I didn't run away from him. I ran to him. I just was silent and still. And he was just letting me know everything was going to be okay day by day, even through the tears. That's what kind of kept me going. That's what kind of gave me my strength, was I had to depend on God, because everybody around me didn't have an answer. My mom didn't have an answer. My mom just going to cry with me. So I didn't have anybody that had a physical answer. The only thing I had was literally just me talking to my Lord God above and just letting him know I'm weak right now at the moment, God, but I trust that you're going to push me through this, Father God. And I just want to say thank you for the blessings that's bestowed upon me that I haven't even seen yet. Thank you for me getting over this, even though I haven't gotten over it yet. And every single day I got better and I got better and I got better. The best advice I can give is don't run from God, like run to him, manifest and feeling better, leaving that situation of whatever situation it is that's kind of bringing you down. And just kind of know that everything is going to be good because you have him and you're covered. Everything will get better. And I'm a living testimony of that, because I literally was in a dark hole where I couldn't see. And I didn't think that I would ever get out of this. And it's like, God just like, I got you, but you got to go through this. The people that you thought were for you, let me show you that they're not for you, but I got to remove them out the way. So you're going to have to go through this journey real quick, but I got to move them out the way for you. So you got to go through this, because I got to get them out. Yeah. And there was a point where I was feeling suicidal, because I didn't know which way to turn. And it was crazy. And a lot of people, you'll pour your heart out and they'll give you advice like, damn, that's crazy, but you're going to be all right. It's like, oh my God, I just told you, like.
Speaking of being a single mother,
see, now
sisterhood,
I kind of want to go back and check that interview out, because I have not seen that interview before. You know what I'm saying? So it kind of made me want to go back and check all of that out. But yeah, she did file some legal papers accusing him of mental and physical around the same time as the situation was happening with Keke Palmer. And of course, he was trying to get custody of the kid and stuff. So, child, it has just been a mess over there dealing with that man. I'm talking about just simply crazy. And I hate it for the ladies that have endured. You feel what I'm saying? It's been a lot going on. But listen, I'm going to let you guys leave your thoughts and comments down below about everything that we just talked about. I'm Jami, that's me. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share my videos. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at JamiThatsMe. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.
Yeah, tell him I preach to the choir. Stand on my feet to the fire. Give all the glory to God. Stand in the midst of these haters, I'm silent, nobody can stop me. Just gotta check in my notification, them numbers hit like it's a praxis. Cashed out at the ATM, and the ATL, they done made a gym. I've been kicking doors like the ATF, got them trying to clone me like ages. Game time, I invaded gym, high elevated, I could face the rim. Putting shots up, I got laser focus, about to take it over, I'm Invader Zim. On a trip to Florida like it's A&M. Who that nigga, man, they say I'm him. Spit the truth, never wasted film, I can feel it.